time to announce it. The Honda Shadow has been traded in, and what came home is the Honda CB 1000. I've had this bike for a few days now, been getting used to it. Today's my first day off since I bought it, so I'm gonna take a nice little ride because it is 60 degrees in Philadelphia in the month of February. Can't beat that. We're gonna take my favorite little Philly 2-hour loop, which is a combination of South Philadelphia streets, a little bit of freeway, which we're about to get onto. That'll bypass the central district of Philadelphia. Then we'll get onto the river, do some faster twisty roads that'll lead us to some of our slower back roads. Kind of loop back around and head back towards the city. All right, 0 to 60 test. No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna take it easy. This bike is very fast, but it's also very calm. It can go either way. If I want to fly, it will be happy to fly, but if I want to short shift all the way to 5th gear before I even get to 40 miles per hour, it'll be happy to do that too. One thing I'm getting used to though, there is no wind protection. Although, I mean, I'm not doing too bad. I'm up here at 60 miles per hour, just kind of putting down the freeway, and the forward lean a little bit definitely aids in taking some of that wind blast, kind of dipping my head into it. That being said, I'm not leaned over too aggressively. More leaned over than I am on the Scrambler, and a little bit more than Jess is on the Street Twin. But it's definitely not a full tuck. Ooh, nice. We might not even hit any traffic. I purposely waited till about noon because I was trying to avoid the morning rush hour. And also I was letting the sun come out because, you know, it's still winter. It might be nice this afternoon, but it's not necessarily warm in the mornings. Oh, cool. I love when the trains come across the bridge as I go under. Choo-choo. See, I've been researching this style of bike for a while. I've really been looking at the Street Triple, the Triumph Street Triple. That bike it's a cult classic for many people. Jess was really into the Trident, which I wasn't so hot on because I think it was just a little too small for my 6-foot frame. And we looked at some other nakeds. We rented nakeds when we were in Florida. That was kind of what started this whole process. And we just kind of wanted to have a naked in our lineup. You know, we've mostly had cruisers, and the Shadow's been with me for a number of years. I think I owned the Shadow for about 8 years. I bought that bike for $4 grand and I traded it in for a pretty good amount. I was very happy with how much I got out of that bike. So it was a bike that almost paid itself off in terms of use to return. And I also just bought this bike with 14,000 miles. So as you can imagine, I did not pay full price. And that's the reason I kind of went with the Honda, because I wanted the full-size bike. You know, the Trident's a 660, the Street Triple is a 760 or something like that. And I mean, while there's nothing to frown at with those displacements, I just I knew I wanted a bigger engine, because the biggest thing I want out of a bike is that low end, the low end and that mid-range. And you know, these 4-cylinders are known for being gutless, but I have to say, this bike is not gutless. I can short shift 1st, 2nd, and 3rd gear commuting around the city all morning, just kind of bog it down at 2,000 RPMs, and it never gets mad. That being said too, it's very happy to scream if you wanted to. Although I must admit, I haven't been going too fast on it yet, because I'm trying to understand its power band and kind of where it's going to take off. I've noticed that, like right now I'm sitting right here at 4,000 RPMs in 4th gear. If I give it full throttle, you know, it'll take off. But until it got up to 6,000, I don't feel it jerk me. You know, it's a different animal above 6,000 RPMs. I actually I have an option on here to set where I want my rev limiter light to go off, like my idiot light, and I set it for 6,500 RPM so that I never really get myself in trouble. Oh darn it, I missed the Kelly Drive exit. I guess I'm going up the freeway for a minute. Oh, these bumps. That leads me to something I've been fairly surprised about. I expected this bike to be so rigid. It's actually pretty comfortable. Like, it's firm, but my scrambler is also firm the way I have it adjusted, and I would say it's in the same neighborhood as that. It's definitely, it's not breaking my back every time I hit a bump, and I appreciate that. But it definitely has some get up and go. Like in these freeway spots, like I'm just comfortably sitting here at 4,000 RPMs and 6 gear going 60. The bike is not buzzing, but I've also got all the passing power in the world. I didn't even have to downshift there, just straight up from 6 gear. I mean, this is probably a very common characteristic of a big bore 4-cylinder. But honestly, I don't have much experience. I've always owned twins, or for that case, I've always owned single cylinders too. You know, mostly with my dirt bikes and the little Honda Monkey. Man, this freeway is jacked up. If you want to switch a lane, you're always going through these like really deep potholes in between the lines. Alright, let's get off the freeway. We'll jump on MLK Drive. It's a very well balanced motorcycle, I'll say that. I can just kind of shift it with my hips. Don't even need any hands. Obviously I need them to give the gas, but I really appreciate a balanced motorcycle. Also, this thing is quiet. I am running the stock exhaust. I'm gonna do a slip-on. I'm not gonna go full system with this bike because honestly I don't need to pull any more power out of it. I only honestly want to do a slip-on exhaust just for aesthetic purposes. I just think it would be nice to change up the shape of the back end of this bike and also kind of save a little bit of weight. But yeah, even when I'm screaming it, like I just accelerated pretty fast there, and it's really not that loud. And when I'm commuting in the morning, I'm a baker. I go to work early in the day, and my neighbors, they don't love when I start the scrambler out front, so this bike is a little bit easier on their ears. Alright, let's stop in this parking lot and check this thing out. Let's talk about this. She is pretty. All around pretty. I'm especially fond of this single-sided swing arm, exposed rear side of the tire. I just think that's gorgeous. The blacked out look with the chrome accents. I guess not chrome, more like brushed aluminum. Etched in logo versus paint or sticker. I mean, a huge part of the reason why I ended up with this bike over any of the other versions or any other of the competition with other brands is that I just thought it was so aesthetically pleasing. But also I love the riding position. I love the way that my knees fit into the tank. The pegs are a little high, but they're not too high. Handlebars are a bit of a reach, but nothing that feels like I'm going to hurt my back or have any strain by the end of the day. It's kind of a nice hybrid between a cruiser and being a sporty bike. The information is straightforward. It gives you everything you need and nothing more. It's a simple LCD screen, nothing too fancy. Same with the controls. Just to start on this side, I have some select buttons and stuff for getting around my different modes. I have some hazard lights. There's a interesting button up here for turning off the traction control. That's nifty, I guess, if I want to do wheelies, which I don't. I have a pass flasher. This comes in real handy in the city when you're at a stoplight. No, sorry, a four-way stop sign and you want to let the other person know they can go first. Typical Honda horn. Nothing out in the ordinary there. Single shock in the back. I do have adjustability on both front and back. That's nice. I like the way it's set up right now though, so I'm not going to mess with it. All around, I could talk about all the specs, but what I really think is that this bike is very balanced, has a great amount of power. You can use the power low. You don't have to wind it up to get things out of it. Of course, when you do wind it up, you get a lot out of it. But at this point, I'm not really pushing it too hard. I absolutely love that there's a quick shifter on this bike. Super convenient for commuting. It's just something I've never experienced, and I've grown super fond of it very quickly. I've hardly used the clutch on this bike. There's very few quirks. Honestly, my only quirk that really has bothered me so far is that just my mirrors are fairly ineffective. Got a little bit of storage in here. I kind of like this. Enough space to probably put a tire repair kit and maybe even a little battery charger or a little air pump. Simple clicking mechanism. Cool first look though. I'm looking forward to spending many more miles on this bike, and I think Jess is too. We're gonna have some fun with this one. Alright, enough talking about it. Let's get out and ride it. One thing I love about Hondas, no clutch necessary. Alright, time to check out one of my favorite little back roads. Manor Drive, just off of Ridge Pike. From here to the river is just such a fun little twisty. It's kind of a mix of rolling hills and twisty through the forest. Just a Hickey Creek. This bike has some pretty good off-road capabilities too. Just kidding. But it honestly doesn't feel out of place either. You know, I'm not scared riding on this gravel. February in Philadelphia. The trees might not be green, but it's always sunny. And today, especially beautiful. Well, that was a nice peaceful little break spot. Let's continue. Oh, I think going forward is the best way out of this. It's pretty hard to back these bikes up over rocks. Turning radius is pretty good on this bike. I haven't really tested the U-turns yet, but getting out of that little jam wasn't too bad. Peace out, Wissahickon. You were lovely. We got through the boring part of our ride, getting through Conshohocken. Now we can take the back way home on State Road 23. One of my favorite routes. So how good does this bike overtake? Almost too good. This car is gonna mess up my fun. I love this back road so much because nobody's ever on it, except for today. Well, I guess we're just gonna take in the scenery. I can't wait for the leaves to come back. Winter is so depressing, but hey, still got a sunny day to ride. Can't complain about that. All right, they're getting off the road. This bike is a hoot. Oh, it's so fun. I'm really enjoying this quick shifter for downshifts too. It makes these twisties so much more engaging. Oh, but the leaves are a little scary. You just never know what to expect when you're riding over the leaves. And the gravel. But hey, that's what back roads are about, right? Can't expect racetrack quality roads on the back road. You just have to ride within your means. So yeah, that about wraps up our first look at the CB1000, or as I like to refer to it, the CB1. It's got a nice ring to it, right? I'm pretty sure one of the original CBs was called the CB1, so I'm paying a little homage to the classic. This bike was developed on like the 1969 CB models, so you know, there's a little bit of history involved here. Obviously, this is a very modern version, and it's kind of taking the styling cues of nothing before it. So I would say it's a lot less retro and a lot more modern. And I love that about it. It's just so smooth. I can just putt around, or I can drop a couple gears and just, you know, treat the twisties the way the twisties were meant to be treated. But yeah, I'm gonna do the rest of this one for myself. You guys stay safe out there, as always, and I'll catch you in the next one, most likely with more content on this bike, because I am having a lot of fun getting familiar with it.